Well, welcome to another edition of On Point Live, right here from the Manhattan Beach Studios. Hi, everybody. I'm Vince Ferragamo, former Los Angeles Rams quarterback, and alongside me is 20-year NFL legend and Hall of Famer Jackie Slater. And we're here to talk about the Chargers, the LA Chargers, and their preseason game last week. You know, the first week, Jackie, they had a great game against the Rams. They beat them by 17. This last week, they played the Saints 22-17, Jackie. But what's your take on how they're playing this year so far? I'm kind of impressed.
Well, I've been impressed too, and one of the things that jumped out at me, Vince, is that they're putting, and I told you this, some of the footwork that the interior offensive linemen have to use to be successful, in particular with the plays they used against the Rams last week, was critical. Now, a lot of those plays that they used against the Rams, I didn't even see them this week. But the thing that I did see was that they left their two starting guards in the game. They played a significant amount of time, and I'm talking about Zion Johnson and Jamari Sawyer. Those guys played a lot of football. They were right in there through most of the game, it seemed like. They wanted to get those guys a lot of reps. So that was impressive to see, and it tells me that Jalen Moore understands how critical it is that these young guards in particular get comfortable playing where they're going to be playing all year long. They didn't play their tackles. They didn't play their center. The thing that I was looking at, and you know, usually, Vince, what happens if when a team runs the football real well, if you go look at it, usually that team does a great job of stopping the run. And it's because of the way they practice. You know, they're practicing against each other. They're getting good low fits against one another as they run the football, which is what they're going to do, and as they work at stopping it. So the production there, you can almost anticipate is going to be close to the production. The production on defense is almost you can anticipate being close to the production that you see on the offensive side of the ball. Right. So with them playing Zion Johnson and Jamari Sawyer as much as they did, you have to anticipate that their defense is going to be stout. Now, they went out and they got them some big bodies. They got, Brandon Staley went and brought in Scott Madlock. He's going to be a big run defender for them. They got Eddie Kendricks, a veteran middle linebacker from UCLA that played most of his career with the Vikings. They brought when they put Sebastian Joseph Day, who played with the Rams. He's going to be a critical part. I'm expecting their run defense to be much improved, simply because of the fits that they're going to be getting in practice. And with Kellen Moore, he's got an array of weapons down the road. Now, we didn't see Mike Williams. We didn't see Keenan Allen, Quentin Johnson. We saw him. He had another really stellar performance for a young guy. We didn't see a whole lot of Darius Davis, who I think they're going to use primarily as a returner. But what they did was they ran the football, they used different runs, and they worked at getting Quentin Johnson the football, and they did a good job of just generally attacking defenses where they were most vulnerable as the time, I'm sorry, not the time, but as the distance dictated. If it was third and long, he put them in a position to have a completable play. If it was third and short, he put them in position to get that first down, to convert on first down. So the big question for me, for the Chargers this offseason, was wondering how Kellen Moore was going to come and put his mark on this offense. I think he did it in week one. I think he attempted to do it in a different way last week. But the consistent thing that he's done is he's put the players at the critical positions on the field who have to execute the blocks to give his offense a chance to go. Yeah. And so that's what I've been most impressed about, even though he hasn't played any of these big-time offensive studs that they have on their roster.
I'm impressed with Brandon Staley's acquisition of talent early on, Jackie. I'm impressed with their continuity of their offense and some of what the style of defense they're running now over there. And we haven't seen a lot of their starters, okay? We've seen a lot of these young kids trying to make this team, and I see a lot of talent on this team that they've built up.
A lot of talent.
And Kellen Moore brings an element of experience from the quarterback perspective. He's played the position. He relates to the quarterbacks. He's on the same page. He understands the nuances of playing the position. Just like you, if you were to coach an offensive tackle, Jackie, you can understand what he's doing, how he's doing it, where he needs help, where he's going to be fine. Look, some people find it at fault. Sometimes there's no fault at all. It's just a matter of you know, the thinking process and how to evaluate and how to move forward with it. Because, I mean, this offense, Jackie, the first week they ran 214 yards, you know, against the Rams. And they showed a lot of versatility. With that offensive scheme. Okay, run the football. That was the biggest. But I've also been impressed with the overall excitement, the aura of their team, how they're hitting, how they're getting to the ball on defense. I see some guys like Tui Pelotu.
The kid from USC.
From USC. He was drafted in the second round, Jackie. He's getting after it. He's got this innate ability to get to the quarterback.
He really does.
Finds a way to do it. I'm also impressed with Tywone Mullen, okay, at cornerback. CJ Okoye has never played the game before. How they got a guy like that to step in, and just the excitement that it builds, Jackie, with everybody on the team.
And you can tell he doesn't know what he's doing yet.
And they're teaching him how to play. He's only played two football games so far.
Right. He doesn't know what he's doing, but he's so big and heavy and athletic that once he figures it out, he is going to be something to have to deal with. Just looking at his size.
And Dayan Henley, Jackie, number 0. He's got a lot of speed, Jack. He can cover. So, you know, they get Kendricks back in the lineup. They get Derwin James. I mean, they get
Khalil Mack,
Bosa. They get Khalil Mack. And then they
CJ.
And how about this kid from Boise State, Scott Madlock?
Yes.
Jackie, number 99.
Oh, he showed up.
You got Aaron Donald, 99 in L.A., and you got number 99 over here.
99s.
Wow. He stops the run now. How would you block a guy like that?
You know, Vince, as always, when you as an offensive lineman, when you're dealing with supreme physical athletic ability like that, they have an advantage. The advantage that they have is that they're going forward all the time. Everything is forward. That's the most natural thing to do, is go forward. As an offensive lineman, you got to retreat and then deal with the momentum that he's bringing on you as a forward playing big, talented guy. So when you deal with big, talented guys like that, you have to get help from your coach. And the coach helps you by giving you a variety of ways to attack the guy. Make the guy think. Make him think.
If you're an offensive lineman, how does experience help you against a player like that, Madlock, who's a big rookie coming in with a lot of talent? Can experience really help you along and maneuver getting the blocks accomplished up front and also the pass protection? I'm not so concerned about pass protection. I'm concerned about making a hole for my running back.
Exactly, and experience does help. And so I will share with you a story. I remember we were getting ready to play Reggie White once, and our offensive coordinator comes in and he says, everybody knows who this guy is, and this guy is not going to kill us. We're going to run the ball. We're going to run this over here. We're going to run that over there. We're going to run that over there. And I'm sitting there thinking, they're running away from me. So I went and I had a conversation with the offensive line coach, and I said, hey, you guys can't do me like this. He said, what do you mean? I said, you put me on the backside with Reggie. You only giving me a 5 and a 7-step drop, and you're going to put the tight end next to me. I said, I want to run all of our offense. All of our offense. And that's exactly what they decided to do, Vince. Yeah. And that's the only way I was able to neutralize a guy like Reggie White, was to make him defend every single inch of the field.
That makes a big
inside zone, outside zone, counters, everything. 3-step drop, 5-step drop. All of that stuff you need to serve up at him so he's thinking all the time instead of just pinning his ears back and going.
Right. It will make a big difference. And then how about some of the receivers, Jackie? You know, they got Quentin Johnston, okay, and their number 1 pick. He's been lights out.
He's been lights out. He has really grown.
He's steady.
We watched it.
He'll get open. You'll see him intermediate routes. He'll get open. On a quick route, he can get it and he can move it. On a deep pass, he's got size and ability. So when they get together, and believe me, they're hooking up in practice. They just hadn't had Justin Herbert in the game yet.
Yeah.
But Easton Stick's been hooking up with him. So, I mean, and they played Easton Stick. And, you know, I think he's coming along. He's learned a lot. He's been in the league a couple years now. Jackie can run the football. He had 63 yards rushing last week when the team rushed for 120 yards. He had over half the yardage.
Right,
but
just taking
that's
off.
not a good sign for your offensive running game, but they weren't concentrating on running the ball that much.
No, I noticed that.
They did against the Rams and not against the Saints. So,
and we know that is why they brought Kellen Moore here. They brought him to the Chargers so that he could develop a run game. I think he gave us good indication in week 1 against the Rams that he knows exactly what he is doing, because the runs that I saw are sophisticated. They're power runs. They beat people up front, and they take advantage of the athleticism and the size of your good interior offensive lineman, which is what I think the Chargers will feature. Mm-hmm. But the thing, make no mistake about it, the run game has to be developed. If they're averaging 105, 10 yards a game on the ground, that's going to be, for me, that's going to be good. You know why? Because somebody has got to come up and play the run and hit those backs in the face, and then at the same time they got to cover Mike Williams, Keenan Allen, Quentin Johnson, Darius Davis. They got to cover all those guys. So you can't. It's hard to do both things, Vince. You come up there and get hit in the lips, on run downs, and then all of a sudden you got to cover one of these dynamic receivers. I think Kellen Moore is going to have a lot of fun calling plays this year, and I think those wide receivers are still going to be features, still going to be keys. But based on what I saw last week against the Rams, I think the Chargers are not going to do what they did in the playoffs against Jacksonville, and that's to blow a 27-point lead simply because they can't not run the football. That's not going to be a problem.
They have a lot more depth to it, running back position, Jackie. And I don't know if a team would keep 4 running backs. I think they probably will, because they have Spiller, who's doing really good. Dotson is playing really good football. Joshua Kelly's playing. And then you got Austin Eckler. So I think this offense will probably keep those running backs, all 4 of those guys.
Possibly.
I'll make room for all 4 of those guys on my team, because I think platooning these guys in and out, keeping them fresh, keeping them running, because they're going to be very specialized. One of those guys will have a play that they like to run, and that's going to be what they're going to be used for.
They're going to be featured at that.
And Kellen Moore will figure that out.
And
he's going to find that
Vince,
out.
don't forget this. The heart of their offensive line features one of the best centers in all of pro football. But it also features 2 225-pound guards that are highly skilled, and they can move people off the ball. And I will never change my mind about this. The nucleus of the offensive line is those guards in that center, and if they can get the job done inside, you can always penetrate a good defense.
The thing about pass protection, Jackie, is you never allow a defense to have a permanent pressure point in the middle of the defense. It has to come from the outside.
Absolutely.
So the quarterback has to always be able to step up, and you have to be very thorough. You have to be very stout in the interior line. You were the offensive tackle. That was a key play to protect the quarterback from the outside, because the inside never was able to pressure us. The outside never got to us. That's how come we were so good. But it starts, the entire line has to work together up front. And now Max Duggan is the rookie quarterback. He didn't play in the last game, but against the 49ers this coming week, Jackie, he'll probably see some action.
See quite a bit of action.
I think the Chargers, the 49ers will be a good test for the Chargers, and I think it'll be a good way to finish out the preseason game.
I think so too. I'm just about ready to change a lot of predictions after this preseason, because number one, I didn't think Pittsburgh was going to be as good as they are. Seattle just surprised me with some of the playmakers they got on. I see why Pete Carroll's so excited. And then I'm looking at what they're doing with Kellen Moore, is the instant impact he's had with some of the plays he's installed and showed to people. I mean, there are going to be some much improved teams, Vince, that are going to be doing the things better this year than they did last year, which is going to enhance their opportunities to win, get into the playoffs, and who knows after you get to the playoffs.
It's always something to look forward to, Jackie. And the last week in the preseason is going to be exciting. The 49ers, Chargers, and also the Rams and the Broncos. The Broncos are an improved team, too, with Sean Payton. They're playing good, sound football, Jackie, and getting it done in all different aspects of the game. So it's always something to look forward to. The last preseason game will be coming up this coming week, and then the regular season will start in 2 weeks. So we're all excited here at the Manhattan Beach Studios to be bringing you our live broadcast that we would love to do during the game, but we'll have to do it following the game, Jackie. We'll give you our wrap-up and our perspective of what's going to happen this season.
It's going to be a fun season.
It'll be a lot of fun. So we want to continue to have you subscribe to our On Point channel, On Point Live with Vince and Jackie, and don't forget to follow us on Instagram at on.point.live. So for all of us here at the Manhattan Beach Studios, until next time, Jackie, stay on point.